Welcome back to Prototype. Seen most of what the bonus content has to offer. They spawned me right next to another military base just to taunt me. Make me want to break in there and eat all the inhabitants. We haven't seen much of the bonus missions. I did one a long time ago. So I decided to check them out for a little more information. They offer an insulting amount of experience points for completing them. Like, the difficult ones give you 40,000 if you get a gold medal. Less than that and it's like 20,000. At this point, we can't get anything. Even if we golded every single one of the mini quests in the entire game. That does unlock platinum levels that you can play in them, but I feel like those would be insultingly low paying as well. Mostly you do those for fun. And I feel like a lot of them are not especially fun. I'd rather carry on with our mission. Here in day 15 of Prototype.
Taggart's air power is crippled. He's gonna make a run for it on the ground. The rogue Blackwatch units are massing at one of his bases and setting up roadblocks to allow him to get to the Brooklyn Bridge. He'll try and push through there. We need to hit him at the base now, before the defenses are complete. Force him out of his hole. When he makes a run for it, consume him. Keep the pressure on, and he'll keep running. But don't let him escape. If he makes it out of Manhattan, our ticket onto the Reagan is gone.
He doesn't have a chance.
We are finally going to use our ability to perfectly imitate individuals to infiltrate a place. So far, we have occasionally used military outfits, just generic soldiers that we found on the streets, to get into certain places, but they're generally low priority places. And I'm gonna do it again. Right now, actually. But then we'll be going for an extremely high priority target. Colonel Taggart was specifically requested to share an audience with General Randall, the one-armed guy who's been making everything horrible this whole game. I have absolutely no need to blow this up. What I'm trying to blow up here is the entire building it was perched upon. You're not going to believe this. Best way to do that is to steal a tank. Best way to do everything in the late game is to steal a tank. Tanks might be a little overpowered, and I haven't even got any of the tank upgrades so far. Since we are disguised as military personnel, I didn't have to yank my way in, crack it open like a can opener, so very quick animation. And we immediately get to work. It's slightly less than half of the health bar there. Place is crawling with super soldiers because it's where Taggart lives. So they keep him well defended. Wait until my costume is no longer suspicious, which is now. For some reason, my bar went all the way up to yellow, almost to red, when I transformed. I emitted some blacklight radiation or something. There's tank, should be right about there. And I'm still hidden. Not so much anymore. Just need to casually stroll my way past these fellas. Excuse me. Thank you for your service. Oh, they got my tank. It's all over. Turret is stuck. That was a bit of a waste. Let's try doing it by force. The old-fashioned way. So unfortunately, the last like half of this game is just living out that time in the 90s when a guy stole a tank and drove down the highway. Caused a bunch of havoc along the way. Probably could have just sold this game as a simulator of that. Notable moment in history. Of which everyone has seen the video. One of the original viral videos. I got dismounted. I might not be able to get in there. No, I'm in there. Never mind. This thing's gone. If I can find it. There we go. There are also side missions to specifically blow up military encampments like this. I believe I did one of those as well. There goes Taggart in his special super tank.
I need that bastard Taggart in one piece.
We cannot keep up, and I'm going the wrong way. Just a casual tailing mission. Honestly, quite a step down in excitement from everything we just did.
Dig in! Like it's gonna make a difference!
Alright, we've reached the point where Alex is losing his mind. So angry. Just gonna scream threats that no one can hear because he's a million miles away and they're in a tank. Now we do have access to an upgrade I didn't have before. It's actually one of those guillotine-esque upgrades where you just fall from the sky and deal 1,000,000 damage. In the Hammer Fist subcategory, the Elbow Slam. And I currently don't have enough experience to buy it, but this is the one that was used to clown the Elizabeth Green boss. And it only works on easy mode. If you read the description, it specifically says, this thing will blow up a tank in one hit if you fall from a great enough height. You can fall from the very top of the skybox. You are not blowing up a tank in one hit with that muscle mass move. Whereas, with the blade, it's actually very easy to blow up tanks in one hit.
Nothing will protect you from me! Not men! Not weapons! Not armor!
Gary Pepper going for it now. Always during the most boring part of this mission, where we're just sort of walking down the street, looking at a big tank. Oh, I got spotted somehow at some point. But he just goes from roadblock to roadblock, and then he waits. The point of the roadblocks is to, like, stall you, so that he can make it to the Brooklyn Bridge. And escape to safety. But when he gets to the roadblocks, he just sits there. Lets us destroy all of his fellow tanks. Look at him there. In the middle. Little halo of tanks. Which we can very easily destroy. One of the more fun ways to do it is to steal one of these tanks and use it to blow up the others. It's a bit of a risk, because there are a lot of guys with rocket launchers around, just waiting for me to do exactly what I'm doing. Guillotine is, of course, always a better choice. Because it's super overpowered. Here's a bad idea. It's the last tank. Ah, should not have risked it. Only sets us back one roadblock. At least it should.
Nothing will protect
But
you
yeah, that
from
was
me.
obviously a bad idea.
Not men, not weapons, not armor.
And of course, we gotta follow along once again. Never take a risk. Just always guillotine. Super soldiers waiting for me on the roof. They know my route better than I do.
No, we don't see him, Command. We'll advise.
Oh, that would be a great skating spot.
Chalk 3 has lost
Building with multiple half pipes on its roof.
Red Crown. This is Fire Team Echo. We have no
Oh.
visuals. Over.
Took a turn. A turn for the worse.
Enemy location? No fucking idea, sir.
Which doesn't really matter.
No one can protect you from me.
He's barely even trying to get away, so none of this matters. It's quite a bit earlier than usual for a recording crash, but I caught it quickly and instantly killed myself so that we can hop right back to the checkpoint where I left off. Nothing lost. Unless I die again. But I'm perhaps giving it away that this is not a very hard or interesting mission. Quite the downgrade from the helicopter theft mission. That was quite fun and unique. Getting way too ahead of Taggart. Might lose him from beating him to his destination. Ooh. Landmark. Don't mind if I do. Gathering snacks. Instead of the exciting pursuit that I'm supposed to be doing. Thought I saw another one? Yeah, there we go. I'm missing like 80 of them, so no surprise. They gotta be everywhere.
Not even your best man can stop me.
Launch managed to go status.
Now we're gonna ruin Taggart's wedding by killing his best man. Oh, and I had a Devastator all lined up too, just so I could do this one differently. I guess we can just about flip this tank. Oh, sniped. They're putting up a fight. I'm admittedly not cheesing it as much as I have previously. And there they go. Foregone conclusion.
Taggart! You suicidal moron!
Why is Alex so angry at Taggart specifically? We've like never seen him before. This is not one of the recurring characters who is actually important. He's important now because we want to eat him. And eat him we shall, as long as I survive this QTE. Yep, he's dead. Don't even get to see it. Liquefied off screen. It was too gruesome.
All of this, everything here, we've been preparing to fight the wrong war. We can't beat this. We need to pull out and deal with it at a distance.
Taggart, I put you in charge because I trust you to do what needs to be done. Cut the heart out of the infection.
Sir, the position is untenable. These things, they're beyond our abilities.
I don't want to hear one more excuse from you. You get your ass back into the field and get it done, or don't come back.
Second to last web of intrigue in the entire game. Didn't reveal anything. Showed that Taggart was Randall's right-hand man, which is good because he's missing one. Actually, he's missing his left hand, but that's not as clever.
We have less than an hour. What's next?
The last person responsible for all of this dies tonight.
If we make it out of here, you think you're ready?
I was made for this.
Citadel Command, this is Captain Cross. Mission accomplished. I have Colonel Taggart in custody, ready for extraction.
That was day 15 when we ate Taggart. Then for some reason we just stood on a rooftop for 3 more days, waiting for today, day 18.
Report.
Taggart's order led directly to the collapse of the Central Blue Zone.
Welcome home. Operation Red Light is over.
What about our men? The ones on the ground in Manhattan?
You didn't think I was that naive, did you? When you have a festering wound, you cauterize it. We'll be saving millions of American lives.
I won't let you erase New York like you erased hope.
Let? We're 6 minutes out, and only I know the code.
You were at Hope, Idaho. You took something from Elizabeth Green. I know what Blackwatch has done. Because everyone I've killed, they're in me. They are me.
That's how you... I've stopped this damn thing before. Stopped it dead. Hope Idaho is just a sacrificial lamb. Necessary cruelty. Shoot anything that moves. No one comes in, nothing gets out.
Sir, the walkers have sealed themselves in the hospital. We have orders to liquidate the entire population.
The mother and child are now military assets. And I just made general officer.
You bastard. You could have stopped all this. You let it happen.
When the weapon detonates, and they think the infection is cleansed, they won't be looking for me. And when I consume you, I'll be able to withstand even this.
My god, we've been quadruple crossed. By Cross. Who could have seen this coming? I'm certain that's why they named him that. Because his allegiances are constantly flipping. So a whole lot just happened there. Obviously. For some reason, Randall was surprised to find out that we steal the memories of everyone we eat. So he told us that he has the memories required to stop the bombs from going off. That was not a good plan on his part. And we've seen that part of the military's plan is to use our, like, agonized reaction to recovering memories to punish us. So he sort of knew that we are, like, capable of knowing what the people we kill know. He just really hadn't put the last two pieces of that together in his head. And that was the death of him. Didn't even show him getting eaten. He's just lying on the ground and then web of intrigue, go. Weird design choices. So here's some upgrades I should have had a million years ago. I'm going to need if I am to survive this fight against a boss we've battled before. The entirety of the grab and throw section. Why did I wait so long to buy this? 5,000 experience for this thing. Game actively recommends you get it, because it's called a core upgrade, and it costs virtually nothing. And now I finally have it. So this lets us grab people while moving, and it makes your life a million times easier. Should have got that a million years ago. Charge throw we can try, but it sort of doesn't work. Maybe it'll work this time. You never know. But we spent basically nothing there, and all of our throwing moves are now much better. Throwing is our greatest asset dealing with this version of the Supreme Hunter. The return of the Supreme Hunter was foreshadowed during the first boss fight against the Supreme Hunter. It now has Devastators. You don't want to get anywhere near those. Essentially a one-hit kill. Does open it up to attack. And then it counterattacks. Let's try... Oh, I got hit with a rocket. That sucks.
All crew abandon.
Our failure has earned us the bad ending. Which I did want to die anyway to show that off. But I was hoping it wouldn't be to enemy soldiers. Maybe that's just me. That will play every time we die during this boss fight, which at least triples the amount of downtime between death and getting back into the action. Which kind of makes this fight more frustrating than it needs to be. There, I hit him in the face with an entire helicopter, dealing a negligible portion of his health bar. A lot more where that came from, though. Helicopters everywhere, and now we can grab them while sprinting. And missiles, all sorts of good stuff. I did hit him while he was flying towards me. So, it appeared as though Cross had turned against us. This obviously is not Cross. The Supreme Hunter is indeed a different entity from Cross. At some point, the Supreme Hunter managed to eat Cross. But he was on our side for a while. Legitimately. And then by sheer misfortune, he became victim to the Supreme Hunter, who has been alive and I guess wandering the city since that boss fight. Is the Hunter behind the tower? That would be obnoxious. Hate when he does that. He's stuck inside the tower. A tiny little bit of collision. Here's what happens when you get hit with the Devastator. You get impaled, and it drains your entire health bar. Now let's see how long it takes to recover. For demonstrative purposes, hopefully the hunter never gets stuck there again. I should really lure him away from the tower, because his maneuvering around the tower is very poor. Uh-oh. If you touch the water, you just hop back out automatically. No harm, no foul. No Grand Theft Auto rules here. For a while, that helicopter was stuck over my head, though. I hit the button to throw it like 5 times. Got him again. So if you have all the throwing upgrades, this can be pretty easy, but very punishing because any mistake will kill you and everything else in the entire world. High stakes. He's devastating. I'm much too close to him. Luckily, his Devastator, like, actually has hitboxes attached to the tentacles, whereas our Devastators just destroy everything within a radius. They don't actually have to be touched by the tentacles, making his much easier to avoid than ours are. And he only has the one Devastator. So Cross was just a military dude, high-ranking one, who had been involved with Blackwatch for a long time, meaning he'd done horrible things, because Blackwatch is a fascist organization. He had killed a previous runner, but this is where they crossed the line for him. Blowing up all of New York City, he could not morally withstand being involved with that. So he willingly decided to help out Mercer. And then at some point, very near the end, he used our same disguise tactic that we were doing to infiltrate Randall's base, to infiltrate our trust, for some reason. Why did the Supreme Hunter bother? That makes no sense. It's really just for the sake of the reveal. Because he absolutely could and should have attacked us long before we got here. All he needs is us to be dead. Being in this location does not benefit him. In fact, the military does a pretty good job chipping away at his health bar, helping us out. So this is a bad place for him to be doing the fight.
Target marked. 10 seconds. Engagement has no effect.
He simply got a hold across and realized that the reveal would be kind of fun. Supreme Hunter is the cancer that we were infected with many missions ago. Infected by Cross, ironically. Cross sealed his own doom. Not that it really mattered. Please get one of the missiles, thank you. So yeah, Supreme Hunter is just the living cancer separated from its body because Elizabeth Green is better at being a runner than we are. It's also unclear how many runners there have been. There's been at least Elizabeth Green, and then 2 that have been killed, because Taggart killed one and Cross killed one. Supreme Hunter sort of doesn't matter, in the grand scheme of things, but it wants to matter. Ultimately, though, it's a very disappointing boss, especially because we fought it before. And the upgrades they've applied to it make it basically impossible to fight it directly. One of the only things you really can reasonably do is hit it with bombs. And it's stuck in a loop, unfortunately, of falling into the water. One soldier's gotten ambitious and wants to go for me. Having shockingly bad luck picking things up here.
This is Red Crown to all crew. We'll remain on station to coordinate.
The bomb.
Everyone else needs to abandon the Reagan right now. Support vessels to perform pickup duty and retreat to minimum safety. That is a general order. Abandon the Reagan right now.
So, our food supply dries up. The helicopters stop coming in.
Helicopters with open spots. Please land and pick up crew and injured on the upper deck. Bring them home, people.
Because the bomb actually does have a 6-minute fuse. They talk about it in the cutscene. That's real. And if we do not kill this boss within 6 minutes, we still get a game over. The same game over we saw where everything explodes. That was a bad spot to be in. Got out of there at the last possible moment.
1 minute remaining.
Regen keeping me barely alive here. I keep trying to grab that thing, but that has been thrown before. It is garbage. I'm getting such bad luck with these grabs that I might time out here. I recall that during the last time we fought the Supreme Hunter, it would occasionally be stunned, and we'd get to jump on its head and punch it a bunch. And that should still happen.
9, 8, 7, 6.
But it hasn't been. There's a bit of RNG to it. Time to do that all again, because it took too long. Now, one thing I should have been doing was having the muscle mass upgrade equipped the entire time, because that increases our throw damage. There. If you hit him 3 times really, really, really fast, that's when you get to dance. Give him the old El Gigante. Or a sizable chunk, that's like about a quarter.
Take off and enter engagement orbit.
Convinced him to just sort of stand there for a while. Yeah, he's devastating. That's why he decided to start standing. You can also stun him directly out of a Devastator. Stunned again. But he's exploding too much. Leave this to me, military. Okay, this is gonna be real smooth sailing at this rate.
This is Red Crown to all crew. We'll remain on station to coordinate.
Now that absolutely was not 4 minutes and 15 seconds.
Retreat to minimum safety. That is a general order. Abandon the Reagan right now.
Clearly, when you get to a certain health threshold, they just drop it to that time.
Any helicopters with open spots, please land and pick up crew and injured on the upper deck. Bring them home, people.
Another one. He has like a hidden stagger meter that I'm sort of getting to understand, but you can see him stagger when he's hit. And that means he's ready to get stunned. At this point, he's also ready to just about die. Unless a helicopter wants to keep attacking me. You can hijack the helicopters during this fight. And it can be helpful. But I didn't need to.
Throw that back.
Decapitation. With a blade, apparently. While I wasn't looking, Alex took out the blade and decided to finish things with that, instead of the actually effective methods of fighting the boss. And surely he'll be dead for good this time. Regardless, we hopefully still have time to save the day from nuclear apocalypse.
I looked for the truth. Found it. Didn't like it. Wish the hell I could forget it. Alex Mercer. The city suffered for his mistakes. For what he did at Penn Station. And whoever he was, that's a part of me. Because when I close my eyes, I see the memories of 1,000 dead men screaming as I take their lives. Moments I'll relive forever. What have I become? Something less than human, but also something more.
News One has confirmed that a nuclear weapon of unknown origin has detonated 10 to 15 miles offshore of southern Manhattan. Estimates place it at roughly 5 times the size of the bomb dropped at Hiroshima.
Is there anything you'd like to say?
No, I guess I just tell everyone we're okay. You know, we're gonna be okay. New York will bounce back.
Hey man, if it wasn't for the Marines, we'd be dead, all of us. They risked their lives to save us. We owe them. I have Sergeant Detweiler here with me. Sergeant, what can you tell us about the present state of the infection?
Since last night, nothing. They don't seem driven in the same way. They're not a real threat anymore.
It's been 10 minutes since the Vice President has been on the ground. Senator Ambrose is expected to make a statement.
New York has weathered the first act of biological and nuclear terrorism in the history of the world. It is a testament to the men and women of the United States Armed Forces that New York is still standing. We will find those responsible. We will drag them out of their hiding places, and we will make them pay. Wherever they are, whatever weapons they possess, they will learn the final lesson. America does not start wars, America ends them. Thank you.
that is the end of Prototype. Ending on one of the darkest and most disturbing lines of the entire game. America does not start wars, it ends them. I have every reason to believe it is intended to be disturbing. This was 2009. War in Iraq. Going very strong and very badly at the time. Ugh. Like, they blamed it all on terrorism. It was terrorism. Alex Mercer, unambiguously a terrorist. Essentially, Blackwatch also a terrorist organization. The military did say they would disavow them if this sort of thing ever happened, and indeed, it happened. And they promised to find the people responsible and make them pay. So, in this universe, they're going to war again. It is very clearly meant to parallel America's response to 9/11. And they're gonna find a scapegoat somewhere in the world and blow it to hell. We might have killed the blacklight experiment at least, because it was designed to be imperialistic genocide. Just instead of going to war, you launch blacklight and kill the entire population of a country immediately. That was the plan. Also, that politician's like stilted delivery with pauses for emphasis made my skin crawl. Definitely seems intentional. And there were a lot of messages in this game that were very strongly delivered, very clear, not very subtle, and generally agreeable. Well said, Prototype, in a lot of ways. And then Zeus regenerated from a single cell. He'll be fine. Mostly for the sake of New Game Plus, but also because there's a sequel. Overall, this game definitely was not as good as I remembered. Not even close. A lot of what I liked about it was apparently made up by me. I wrote a better story for this game in my head, based on the pieces that they fed to me. Because the pieces are fantastic. This whole thing about the virus being its own separate entity, basically born the moment that Mercer did his terrorism. And I said maybe Mercer was trying to just get out of the game, get away clean. The Web of Intrigue actually paints a different picture. When Randall had too many whistleblowers spoil the Blacklight project, and it was starting to leak to the media, his recourse was to pull the plug on it. And when he pulls the plug, he doesn't leave any loose ends. He kills absolutely everyone involved. Mercer was a dead man. He seemingly wanted to carry it further and was bringing his sample of the Blacklight virus as like a dead man switch. If they kill him, he unleashes the virus. So they killed him, of course. But it is suggested at least that they did not want to unleash the virus because it would have been a PR nightmare and blown up the entire city. Blackwatch themselves are less concerned with the latter part. Just the PR nightmare thing. And as a story of conspiracies and people being evil and imitating one another, it largely worked. You don't see that often in video games. Typically, video game conspiracy stories are embarrassing. This one had twists that largely made sense. They were neither predictable nor insulting. Overall, perfectly solid, workmanlike, efficient. Not fantastic as I remember them being, but well above average and good. Just plain good. It didn't live up to my memories, but it's still very good. I still like this game a lot. And it made me go through the entire Web of Intrigue. Web of Intrigue? Huge disappointment. I didn't get anywhere near 100% of it in my casual playthrough. And now I see why. The game doesn't expect you to get 100% of it. Tons of it is redundant, where they say the exact same thing that they've said before, either in the game or in another Web of Intrigue. I guess because they did not expect you to get all of them. Most players didn't, because they made it a huge pain in the ass to get all of them. So they could not expect everyone to get them all. Another thing I dislike about this game is that it has turned my computer into a real shit show. Damn thing keeps crashing on me. Can't even begin to imagine why. So we missed part of the credits, wherein the music had already given up because the credits are too long. And we missed the cutscene where Alex says, I still have work to do. Or more like, oh, I still have work to do. Because he's Batman. And indeed, New Game Plus. So we can go do the side quests. We actually unlocked 4 new events by completing the game. So the side quests continue. Here in free roam mode. And New Game Plus, we can now start with all the upgrades. Which is one of the only reasonable ways to get all the upgrades. Purchasing them legitimately, nigh impossible. There used to be a billboard in the Xbox version for Jersey Boys, the musical. But apparently all the real products that made their ways onto billboards were removed for copyright reasons in this re-release. One of the only things they changed in the re-release, because the PS4 version is actually worse than the Xbox 360 version. It looks equally shoddy, and they removed the parts of the game that are 60 FPS. The Xbox 360 version actually runs in 60 FPS, which is ridiculous to say because the gameplay still has tons of slowdown, intentionally and in ways that are clearly designed to mask the unintentional slowdown that is omnipresent throughout the game. So the gameplay doesn't really go in 60 FPS, but the menuing does, and the menuing is way, way, way smoother on Xbox. PS4 version, kind of an inadequate port, afraid to say. But I have it. And I also have Prototype 2 on PS4. And I will be taking a look at it. I've never played it before. I know the plotting is much worse than that of Prototype 1. And I've discussed the many ways in which I'm disappointed with the plotting in Prototype 1. The big one, which I was about to get to before my computer crashed. Pariah. A huge amount of the Web of Intrigue was dedicated to talking about Elizabeth Green's son, codenamed Pariah. The perfect form of the virus, and possibly the perfect form of all of humanity, who is eventually going to take over the world. And also foreshadowing, warning us that if he ever came in contact with the imperfect form of the strain, that is Alex Mercer, aka Zeus, it could end the world immediately. Bad, unspecified things would occur in a huge foreshadowing event that never came to fruition. It seemed like maybe Cross was Pariah. And we do have enough information about Cross to know the timeline works out. Cross seems kind of young, but he is canonically 1 year younger than Pariah. He was born 1 year after Pariah's stated birth date. So it still could have worked out. However, we know that Pariah was locked up and experimented on for decades. And then we don't know what happened to it. There's no further discussion in this game or the next game bafflingly enough, they just completely dropped that plot thread, rendering a full third or so of the web of intrigue completely pointless. And it's the best third of the web of intrigue. You know? The stuff about Pariah is legitimately very cool. So you can still headcanon that Cross is Pariah, but there are so many discrepancies. That and the fact that Supreme Hunter eats Cross at the end. Supreme Hunter and Pariah are definitely separate entities. And Cross is absolutely guaranteed to be dead as of the end of the game. So if that somehow all the discrepancies don't matter and that was still Pariah, it doesn't matter. What a waste. So much wasted potential, just like almost everything that Paul Jenkins writes. I assume the rocky development of the game caused a lot of that. It smells like cut ideas. Not entirely sure. Haven't found tons of documentation about just what happened. But alas. Based entirely on what was in the game, I like it. I like it a lot. Still disappointed. Still wasn't as good as I remember. The prototype, still real good. As noted, events are pointless, and searching high and low for all the landmarks would take a lifetime. Because I still have like 80 left. Hey, it's one of the monsters. Oh man, those are low poly birds. I don't even believe what I'm seeing here. This game never looked good. This is kind of shockingly bad. I never noticed this before. So that's a note to go out on. Graphically, hasn't held up, and it never looked good in the first place. See you eventually for Prototype 2.